Hello, children. Today we are going to revise the second chapter of history, Historiography, Indian Tradition. As we have studied in the last chapter, that historiography is the writing of critical historical narrative, and the scholars who write such narrative is called a historian. These historians have their own perspective, it means line of thinking, and they write history based on it. We will revise the Indian tradition of historiography, which means Indian way of writing history and important Indian historians and their narratives. The historiography of India is divided into three parts: ancient, medieval, and modern period. So, let us begin with the ancient period. We come to know about the life of Stone Age man and ancient people with the help of the preserved oral sources, also known as recitals, like poems, songs, stories, etc. We can able to study about the great deeds of our ancestors and various changes that took place in the society, as these oral sources were orally passed down from one generation to another. After the discovery of Harappa civilization, that is ancient Indian civilization, many seals were found, and by observing the pictographical inscriptions carefully, means pictures on the seals, historians came to a conclusion that the art of writing was developed in India in 3rd century BCE. One of the most interesting fact about Harappan seal is the script, that is language, in which these seals are written is not 100% decoded or deciphered, means historians are still not able to read this script. Inscriptions are also known as the earliest written documents. Inscriptions are just like carvings on rocks, pillars, and stones. The last written Indian inscriptions belong to the period of King Ashoka, that is, during 3rd century BCE. These inscriptions are popularly known as Ashokan edicts. Through this, we have got a lot of information about the rule of King Ashoka and Buddhism by the rock and stone inscription. Children, in this slide there is a picture of edicts of Ashoka, wherein you can see various edicts of King Ashoka in ancient India. In the same age, a lot of inscriptions, images, and writings came to be inscribed on metals, coins, copper plates, and even metal sculptures. From these, we come to know about the various dynasties of India and their founders. We also come to know about how big these kingdoms were, political relations, important events, trade with each other, climatic conditions, and many other aspects of that time. There were many ancient Indian literature like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Buddhist texts, travelogues written by foreigners. This proved to be an important source of writing ancient history. Biographies of kings are also a very important source of writing ancient history. Biography means life story of a person. One such famous biography is the Harsha Charita of King Harsha, that is King Harshvardhan. This biography was written by Ban Bhatt in Sanskrit language. Now, let us revise the historiography of medieval period. Medieval age starts with the invasion of Muslim invaders and rulers. You have studied about the Mughal period and great kings like Babur, Akbar, Aurangzeb, etc. So the historians who wrote the history of Mughal Sultanate or Muslim ruler, were influenced by Arabic and Persian historiography. Why they were influenced? Because their roots were from these countries. They belonged to Arabia and Persia. Let us study about one such historian, Ziauddin Barni. Ziauddin was an Indian historian. He wrote the book Tarikh-e-Firoz Shahi. He had described about the ruler Firoz Shah Tughlaq. He insisted that historians should not write only about the positive aspects of the kings, means about their valor, welfare policies, etc., but they should also focus on the negative aspects like failures, wrong deeds, etc. Same what Hegel said in his theory of dialectics. Barni also insisted that historians should include the thoughts and teachings of the saints and learned people in their narrative. For example, if a historian is writing about Maratha history, he should include the saints like Tukaram, Dhyaneshwar, etc. and their teachings and thoughts. The historians in the Mughal court used to write in the praise of the emperors. It is obvious because these historians were working under the emperors, so they definitely wrote about the positive aspect. These historians had a particular pattern of using poetic quote and beautiful pictures to write the narrative. The great Mughal emperor and founder of Mughal Empire, Babur, wrote his autobiography named Tuzuk-e-Babari. In this book, Babur gave a vivid account of the events of his life and also about the history and geography of the area where he lived, as well as the people with whom he came into contact. Abul Fazl. Abul Fazl was an Indian scholar and was amongst one of the 9 jewels of Emperor Akbar's court. He wrote Akbarnama in Persian language. This is one of the most important books written on Emperor Akbar's life. Fazl critically examined the authentic records and documents and unbiasedly wrote this narrative. There were other writers also who wrote about the medieval period of India. They were foreign scholars and used to write narratives based on their deep study and experience. Al-Biruni. Al-Biruni was an Iranian scholar. He wrote about the Indian knowledge and social life in Tariq al-Hind in Arabic language. Another historian is Hasan Nizami. Hasan Nizami was a Persian poet. He wrote Tajul Ma-Asir. This book is the first official history of the Delhi Sultanate. Minhaj-e-Siraj. Minhaj was a Persian historian. He wrote Tabakat-e-Nasiri. He wrote this book for Sultan Nasiruddin Mahmud of Delhi. This historian used the name Hindustan for the first time. Another famous historian is Amir Khusro. He was a Sufi singer, poet, and scholar from India. He is referred as the father of Urdu literature. Taimur Lang. He was an invader from Mongol. He wrote his autobiography Tuzuk-e-Taimuri. He was also the great-grandfather of Emperor Babur. Another historian, Yahya bin Ahmad Sirhindi. He was an Indian scholar. He wrote a chronicle, Tarikh-e-Mubarak Shahi, in Persian language. From this book, we can get information of Sayyid dynasty. In medieval Indian history, apart from Mughal period, Maratha period also holds an important place. The important historical document or narrative of medieval Maratha period is Bakhar. More than 200 Bakhars were written. Bakhar contains the stories of achievements, life, historic battles, and great deeds of Maratha heroes. Let us study about some important Marathi Bakhars. First one is Sabhasad Bakhar. This Bakhar is written by Krishnaji Ananta Sabhasad in the rule of Chhatrapati Rajaram Maharaj. Another Bakhar is Bhausahebanchi Bakhar and Panipatchi Bakhar. It describes about the Battle of Panipat. Next Bakhar is Holkaranchi Kaifiyat, which gives information about the life of Holkars and their part in Maratha kingdom. Now, let us revise the historiography of modern period. Historiography of modern period starts from the discovery of Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization was excavated in 1921 when the excavation work of railway track was going on. This excavation was led by Dr. Rai Bahadur Dayaram Sahni. Sir John Marshall was the director of the Archaeological Survey. Children, for your kind information, most of the part of the Harappan civilization is in Pakistan, but when it was excavated, India and Pakistan was one country. After the excavation, we got to know that this lost city is of 3rd century BCE. Now, let us focus on few notable historians and their narratives. During British era, Indian historiography was mainly written by British historians. They focused only on the positive aspects of British policies for India. Let us study about James Mill. He wrote the book The History of British India in 3 volumes. This book was published in 1817. In this book, he wrote about the British rule and condemned and criticized Indian culture. He attacked on Indian history, literature, art, law, etc. The next scholar, Mount Stuart Elphiston, he was the governor of Bombay, which is present Mumbai. He wrote the book The History of India. This book was published in 1841. Another historian, Grant Duff. The History of Maratha was written by Grant Duff. He wrote the book A History of Marathas in 3 volumes. Even he glorified the culture and rule of British period and condemned the Indian history and culture. Another historians were Colonel Todd and William Wilson Hunter. Even they criticized the Indian culture in their narrative. The narrative of Grant Duff, A History of Marathas, condemning the Maratha culture, was exposed and proved wrong by Indian historian Neelkant Janardhan Kirtane and Vishwanath Kashinath Rajwade. They found relevant and authentic information and proved that whatever Grant Duff wrote was not correct. Now, let's study about Indian historiography and ideologies of some foreign and Indian historians. Let's start with the colonial historiography. Colonial historiography means history written during the British rule in India. The historians who wrote colonial historiography glorified the British culture and condemned and criticized the Indian culture, like James Mill, Mount Stuart Elphiston, and Grant Duff. They also said that British culture is a rich culture. Every Indian should follow British culture and British rule. They also said that British Kingdom is trying to modernize Indians in terms of providing education, job, etc. These historians were British officers and Christian missionaries. They have ridiculed Indian culture. Cambridge History of India was published in 5 volumes in which these colonial historians have given their viewpoint. Orientalist historiography. Orientalist means someone from a Western country who studies the language, culture, or history of the countries of Eastern Asia like India. Every British historian didn't condemn Indian culture. Some of them were great admirers of Indian civilization and culture. They studied ancient Indian language like Sanskrit, Vedic and Sanskrit literature. They translated many Sanskrit texts into English and German languages. They found that there were many similarities between Sanskrit and European languages. For example, the English word mother is derived from Sanskrit root word matra. Orientalist historian Sir William Jones founded Asiatic Society in Kolkata in 1784. This gave an impetus to all the historians and scholars round the world to study and research on ancient Indian literature and history. Friedrich Max Müller, a notable Orientalist historian, was deeply interested in Sanskrit literature and considered Sanskrit language as the most ancient language. Let's see some narratives of Max Müller. First one, he translated Sanskrit text of Hitopadesh. It is an Indian text in Sanskrit which contain short stories of both animal and human characters. In short, you can call these stories as moral stories. Second one, he wrote the book The Sacred Books of the East in 50 volumes. Third one, he also wrote Rig Veda in 6 volumes and translated the same in German language. Nationalistic historiography. The historical narratives written by the Indian historians from national point of view, highlighting Indian culture and tradition, is known as nationalistic historiography. These historians wrote about India, its culture and tradition, and proved that British historians only condemned and criticized our country with no base. By their writings, they brought back the lost pride, glory, and self-esteem of Indian readers. These historians studied in British school itself, but they gathered correct information and accordingly wrote their narratives. Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar. He was a Marathi nationalistic historian. He criticized the narratives of British officers. He said that the history of ancient India is dynamic and great, and it is only being condemned so that British officers can glorify their culture. V.K. Rajwade. V.K. Rajwade is known as one of the notable nationalist historian. He wrote in Marathi language. He did immense research of Maratha history by visiting hundreds of villages and historical places all over India and gathered authentic record and documentation. He wrote Marathyanche Itihasachi Sadhane in 22 volumes. He strongly believed that Indians should write their own history. It shouldn't be written by any foreigner because we know our land better than the foreigners. He also insisted that history should be written on the basis of correct information, authentic sources. That means whatever a historian is writing, whether good or bad, he should write with an authentic proof. The narratives of nationalistic historians helped Indians to burn the spark of independence movement against Britishers. Scholars like Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, also known as Veer Savarkar, wrote The Indian War of Independence. This book describes 1857 revolt as a unified and national uprising against British authority. These nationalist historians started writing history about their own region also. There was a drastic change in Indian historiography during the post-independence era. The tradition of writing dynastic history about the dynasties of various kings like Mughal Emperor, Chandragupta, Ashoka, etc. was changed, and the historians started focusing on writing cultural, economic and political history. There were 3 ideological schools which influenced the historiography of this era. You can call these schools as 3 different ideologies or 3 different kind of thoughts. The first one is Marxist history, second subaltern history, and third feminist history. We have already studied about the class theory of Karl Marx. So, the historians of Marxist history followed the ideology of Karl Marx. Marxist historians studied about the haves and have-nots of Karl Marx class theory. They basically focused on means and modes of production and the industrial relation. Children, this is already explained in detail in Karl Marx theory. These historians also studied the transition, that is change, within the caste system. Comrade Dange was one of the founder member of Indian Communist Party. He wrote the book Primitive Communism to Slavery. Marxist historians had started writing about the have-nots, that is, the deprived section of the society. Subaltern historians were inspired by the Marxist historians. Italian historian Antonio Gramsci, he was a Western Marxist thinker, said that history should be written from the bottommost rank, that is, deprived section of the society. Indian subaltern historian Ranjit Guha was inspired by the ideology of Antonio Gramsci. He was the first person who wrote about the subaltern history in India. Because of him, people got to learn more about subaltern history. The two most important writers, Mahatma Phule and Dr. Ambedkar, expressed their thoughts as well as plight of the weaker section of the society through their writings. Mahatma Phule, one of the greatest social activists, in his book Gulamgiri, wrote about the caste system and caste domination. He also wrote how the deprived section of the society, that is the Shudra and Atishudra, exploited in the name of religion. Gulamgiri was further translated into English titled Slavery. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar wrote who were the Shudras and the untouchables. He wrote about the plight of these ignored section of the society. Next is feminist history. Previously, our Indian history was male-centric, which means only male historians used to write narratives on Indian history. Because of this, many female historians were suppressed. Over a period of time, historians thought that it is important to rethink women's position in history and also to study and compile the historical narrative of women. Amongst women authors, first author was Tarabai Shinde. Tarabai wrote the book Stree Purush Tulna, which means a comparison between women and men. In her book, she criticized the social inequality of caste and the patriarchal system, that is, male as the head of the family. Stree Purush Tulna was published in 1882 and is considered as the first feminist book in India. Another author was Pandita Ramabai. Ramabai wrote The High Caste Hindu Women in 1888. This book was originally written in Marathi, later translated into English and sold in America. In her book, she attacked on the ill treatment done on widows and Parda system. Next author was Meera Kosambi. Meera Kosambi wrote a book, Crossing Thresholds, containing life stories and essays of great females like Pandita Ramabai and Dr. Rukmabai. Dr. Rukmabai was the first practicing lady doctor of India. Another woman author was Dr. Sharmila Rege. She wrote the book Writing Caste, Writing Gender, in which she wrote about the viewpoint of Dalit women in Maharashtra. There were other such historians who wrote unbiased history. They didn't embrace any particular ideology. So, at the end of the chapter, we came to a conclusion that Indian historiography has been greatly influenced by the narratives of historians. By their effort and contribution, the outlook towards Indian historiography changed. Even the social and political movements greatly influenced Indian historiography.